Hello, and welcome to Writing Escapades with me, David Rawding. Today is a special episode because I'm going to be narrating to you one of my original short stories that was published with Crack the Spine, which is a literary magazine. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I lived in Colorado and I spent a lot of time in Colorado and Utah. And the setting of this story is in Denver. And you can see the background here. This is Utah. I just spent a lot of time out there. And one of the things I like to do was rock climb. So that kind of inspired this story. A lot of my stories are inspired by the places I live and some of the activities I do. And then I kind of build a character around them. So this story, The Climber's Crux, is about a character who lives in Denver and has an issue, has a problem, and they're going about trying to find some sort of solution. So instead of having me just kind of like look down and like read, what I'm going to do is I've actually already read and narrated it, and it'll be on the podcast. So I'm going to take that audio and I'm going to put some images that will be showing up at the end, just to kind of sign off. But for the most part, this video is going to be just kind of pictures. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like my narrating debut. It's funny because I have the podcast and the YouTube, but I'm not a voice actor, and I've never been a voice actor, but I want to try at least to dabble, because a lot of authors do narrate their own work. So maybe it'll be something I do in the future, but this is my shot at it. So let me know in the comments how I did or how bad I did. You know, it's fine. I have thick skin. I can take it all. So just let me know. Without further ado, here's me narrating The Climber's Crux. Okay, so as I said in the intro, I'm going to be reading from The Climber's Crux. Again, this was published in Crack the Spine, which is a literary journal, literary magazine. You can actually read along if you want to click the link below. It's crackthespine.com, and I've got the specific website in my description. Or just sit back and listen. The Climber's Crux. I know I'm dreaming, because what I sense is more than what I understand. Mercury slides under my skin, settles in plunge pools, and restrains my body as invisible as magnetism. There's a crystalline vase in a room of bleached white. A dark crack splits the vaulted ceiling, and a slow drip begins. The drops strike the water in the vase, and I witness as the blackness unfolds in accordions spreading deeper, searching for more untainted space to inhabit and grow. Soon, the whole vase is transformed black as a tar pit. I separate from the dream, and the hairs of my skin extend to trap cool pockets of air that filter through the choked window screen and lean over my bed to lick my chest. With dry, cracked fingers littered with padded calluses, long dead of feeling, I rub my arms. My index finger hesitates at the crest of a lump on my shoulder, a more recent fixture on my body's landscape. This hard calcified flesh isn't a solitary monument. I connect each of my lumps with invisible lines. A single-paned window reveals the moon, a road flare in the blackened sky that spreads across the gray plains, the sloping foothills, and traces the outline of the Rocky Mountain peaks in the rear. The pillow beside mine is undented. I sigh, and commit my cold feet to leave my toeholds on a loose Afghan blanket. Bent over, my hands probe an indistinguishable pile of laundry, trying to discern boxer shorts from other cotton clothes. Suddenly, I'm wrapped in pulses of heat, radiating and getting worse the more I concentrate on finding something to wear. I stand up, and my muscles presume a rigid stance, as if anticipating a fight. Inside, my organs are cooking. I remain naked, and with the speed of a fireman responding to a call, I find my cell phone, car keys, wallet, and leave my bedroom behind. As I descend the stairs, I look at the cell phone, dark against my pale right arm. When I get to the bottom of the stairs, I leave the phone face down on the flat wooden rail. Downstairs, under dim light, with a pen balanced between my knuckles, I put the tip to work on words. With note in hand, along with my wallet and keys pressed in my bare chest, I stride to the front door. But before I pass through, my loose hand rubs the worn lumps of molded plastic above the frame. I'm welcomed by the familiar neon-colored handholds of my climb board that have trained my hands and my arm muscles for the better part of 30 years. On the front porch of the house, I take a moment to inhale the cigarette potpourri coming from the old coffee cans filled with scoops of high desert sand. For a moment, I unconsciously lick my lips and my fingers touch my lips. I distract my eyes by turning to face the overwhelmed mailbox. Although the moon is somewhat blocked by leafy maples transplants like me, the pale street light is enough to make out several words and symbols on the tightly sealed envelopes. Medical, health, hospital, and care, with the images of a medical staff and a cross. Leaving my house behind, I walk the cracked sidewalk and catch the stench of leaking garbage bags blended with the freshly shaved rubber from car tires. I see my own car among the many humps, a sandy Jeep Cherokee hugging the granite curb. In my path, I step around a discarded newspaper at my toes with The Denver Post printed across the top. In the Jeep, I can't avoid noticing how the bucket seat sticks against my bare ass and back. The car starts as if waking from a tormented dream, making its disgruntled feelings plain to me and anyone who may care. As I drive down my street and turn the car west, I smile at how the wheel seems to move more freely now that I'm naked, as if the car, too, had dropped its stiff demeanor. My smile eventually fades as I leave the city and make my way towards the foothills. An hour passes. Cut shapes of rock begin to rise on either side of the road. The few trees that flank my headlights are twisted junipers and thin stands of pine. I eye the canyon walls that hold themselves like dark mammoths before me. My tires crunch gravel and dip into potholes. There are no houses, no lights, save my headlights and the cascading sheets of moonlight. The road follows a creek, a particularly vascular vein of water running along the bottom of the canyon. I park alongside a copse of trees and gaze past their umbrella tops to the cliff face. There's enough light to reveal the rock shape, that of a humpback whale at nearly full breach, but still too dim to fill in the network of jagged cracks. I turn the car off and try to regain a rhythm for my jagged breathing. I close my eyes. Again, I see the vase filled with dark, venomous water. When I open my eyes, I leave the keys dangling in the ignition, the wallet on the seat, and the note, face up, on the dash. The smell of junipers is strong. The creek's water whispers as the current tumbles over rocks and is severed by boulders. There's a light wind being channeled by an unseen tempest through the canyon, weaving through my coarse, curly hair. The whale wall stood before me, rising a full 300 feet to the top of the canyon, like an enemy of time. At the base, I touch the wall. It's warmer than I expect, retaining the residual heat from a day spent baking under the Colorado sun. My hands grasp a scoop of loose rock and earth. Flakes of dirt, dust, and loose granules become trapped in my palms as I work the moisture off my skin. With ropes, a heavy rack of trad gear, and a partner, this route named Jane's Pain Addiction by the first known climber had only been conquered by a handful of expert climbers since. In my best shape, I'd only made it just beyond halfway. I stare as deep into the rock as I can. I slap the stone like the back of a friend. I eye the twisted root above me and say, "Let me get to the top this time?" The wind picks up and then dies. My neck feels the sudden need to turn my face back in the direction of the car. I strain and start a battle against my instincts and common sense. I look up and see the route for what it is. Bare slabs alongside a crack for the majority of the climb, then a car-sized roof, an arête, and then a ledge, the crux of the climb, at the top. Led by my courageous big toe, the rest of my comrades find a worthwhile fissure for my foot, and I lift my body off of the flat ground. My hands ball up and stab deep into the beginning of the first crack. My protruding thumbs hold each fist in place. I release a long exhale, a breath I just realize I have been holding, and begin moving foot over foot, hand over hand, wedging whatever flesh I can into the long fist-sized crack. The way I move is as steady as a sloth and as calculated as a mantis. My back arches and my legs bow to find footholds. My hands move by feel. My memories are here, embedded with this rock. This portion of the route is stored within my own body, activated once I begin climbing. My left arm holds me to the rock, as it is buried deep in the crack, with my fist shaped into a mallet. The crack cuts into the skin of my forearm and my knuckles as I swing. I grit my teeth and drag my right hand down the rock face. My nails feel the flat section of the wall until a small dent catches, minuscule, but enough to keep me there. I hold myself flat against the wall and catch my breath. Sweat sprouts in my palms, which releases a packet of stored adrenaline. No! I shake my head and look at the rock wall, inches from my dry lips. I'm climbing. I got this. This is all me. My feet are cut and tender along the top and sides. I rub each hand on the wall and continue my ascent. The route leads to a large roof, a hanging cut of rock that fills my view of the sky. When I reach the roof, my hands settle into a finger crack along the crease where the rock splits. The crack is ice cold and damp. I shove my hands, like two shovel blades, as high as I can and let my arms go straight. I lean my body back while the balls of my feet smear against the flat wall. I slowly shuffle right by alternating my hands in the crack as I traverse to the edge of the roof. When I pull my right hand out of the crack and reach over the top of the roof, I find my fingers are too moist to grip the smooth rock above. My left arm is bent and starting to lose power. I pat my right hand blindly on the rock. Above, in search of a hold, energy saps from my stiff left forearm while my left leg is being chewed by a cramp. The nails of my right hand scrape and claw until they get stuck on a stone lip. I let go of the rock with my left hand and rely on the finger strength of my right hand to haul my body up and over. On top of the roof, I'm able to stand on a patch of partially flat rock the size of a hospital bed. I massage my forearms against each other in an effort to loosen the stiffness. In between heavy breaths, I exhale the words, "I'm gassed." Goosebumps have gathered on my arms and legs. I cough once and then break into a fit of hacking. When I stop, I spit a chunk of something dark on the rock at my feet. I wipe my mouth and my eyes transition to the climb ahead. The ridge above has the look of a spine protruding from a malnourished person's back. After that, the rock slope angles outward. At the very top is the crux of the climb, a ledge that the local climbers have named where the sidewalk ends. I'm still working my forearms when something small collides with the skin on my shoulder. A coolness that tries to sink through, but instead slides down my arm in a damp trail. A sudden volley of liquid nails comes from the heavens. I look up at the dark sky and hear the rumble. The rock quivers, and as I move my hands to climb, the glass ceiling shatters and the water dumps on me and the rock face, turning the high desert and my thoughts to mud. I sit on the roof and hug my knees to my chest while rocking my body back and forth. My body still radiates heat despite the darkness and the rain. My head feels as if it's wrapped in thick fur, and I close my eyes. "Hey, buddy, hey! Can you hear me?" My eyes only open halfway, but the sunlight burns through strong. "Stay put! I'm coming to help you!" The voice is coming from above, a man's voice, but I can hear others as well, their voices echoing through the canyon. My arms are still wrapped around my legs and are cemented together. The rock and my body seem fused. I struggle to move, finding no strength left within me. Instead, I close my lids and listen. "Still with me down there?" The voice has gotten closer. I hear his scraping shoes bouncing off the rock. He's there now, on the ledge with me, shaking me by the shoulder. I open my eyes and meet the focused eyes, rimmed by disorganized, sun-crisped hair that's stuffed in a climbing helmet. The guy leans away and yells, "He's alive!" I still can't move, even when he tries to coax me. He builds a harness with webbing and lassos my arms and legs and body tight. Working with the people above, I'm hauled up the face. I peer at the final ledge, the crux, where the sidewalk ends, as I'm lifted above the lip. Several hands reach and pull me to safety. They work quickly to clothe me and carry my body along the trail down the backside of the cliff to the bottom of the canyon. The cars are parked beside my Jeep. I whisper the words, "A note. My Jeep." A girl comes back with my note. Her eyes flash from the note, then to me. "Is this what you wanted?" She hands the paper into my shaking hands as they buckle me into a seat. I look down at the 4 simple words I'd written and nod my head. They drive fast while I slip in and out of consciousness. I see the vase again, filled with black water. I shake myself awake, force my eyes open, and stare at the note, crumpled in my hand, black ink letters that read, "I want to live." All right, that was me narrating The Climber's Crux. I really appreciate you guys listening. And if you did like anything you heard today, drop a like, hit a comment, subscribe, buy my books. They're available anywhere online where books are sold. And hopefully I'll do some more of this in the future. I have other short stories that have been published, and I wouldn't mind giving those a bit of a narration, giving it a shot. So hopefully I'll get better. It's like anything, I guess, you practice it and maybe you learn some skills along the way, and I'll take some feedback if you guys have any. So let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later.